Are you suffering from tightness and stiffness in one side of your low back due to a quadratus lumborum, overstimulated, overcompensated spasm, stiffness, and tightness in one side, which causes a lateral pelvic tilt, which is a lift on your pelvis, or a hike and a downward movement pattern of your rib cage that also results on your shoulder lowering that compresses this overcompensated, overstimulated muscle, which also correlates to an overcompensated opposite side of your tight hip flexors, as well as anterior tilt and rotation of your pelvis on the compensated tight QL muscle. If you have this, then this video is just for you. Hi, my name is Annie and welcome back to my channel, Annie Pilates Physical Therapist. If you're new to my channel is about Pilates, yoga, physical therapy, health and wellness, and in this video I'll be discussing anatomy and physiology about the Quadratus Lumborum again. And if you haven't watched, I have a previous video you can watch to learn more about function of the muscle, anatomy and physiology. But in this video I'll be going deeper on the origin, insertion of the muscle, and the importance of your diaphragm, which why the breath work is so important, and finally this inhibition to inhibit the contraction of this tight, stiff, and spasms of one side of your lumbar spine that results on functional, poor postural awareness. So get your ball and your mat ready and join me. Okay, my friends, let's go back to the anatomy again and physiology about the Quadratus Lumborum. As I said, I have a video you can watch as well to connect with this video. If you're new to my channel, I have a playlist about Quadratus Lumborum that you can check out, where I also have progressions of different exercises you can do, the align video and the rectify, which is a little bit more progressive on other videos, as well as I have a deep Quadratus Lumborum stretch with a bolster you can also try. And in this video, we'll be utilizing the physio ball to help you disengage this stubborn, angry, spasmodic muscle. So just example, you have a tight QL on your left side. And if you're suffering from scoliosis, then you might notice this side could be your concave side and the other side will be convex side. So if you have scoliosis, there's also correlation that you can have idiopathic scoliosis, or if you have a scoliosis due structural due to when you were growing up, puberty causes your spine to start curving, especially if your dominant side, your right side, then it's more common to have dextroscoliosis, which means you have more rotation from your right side, turning and twisting, because scoliosis is not just a curving, it's also rotation of your spine, and that also causes some spasm, tightness, imbalance on your muscles, and then your pelvis alignment. So this time I'm going to discuss the importance of your diaphragm and why you're having this problem. So let's discuss if you have scoliosis, and if you have dextroscoliosis, which is your right side have the convex side and rotation towards the right, and if you have levoscoliosis. So I have a subscriber who left a comment about the QL muscle and she's suffering from idiopathic levoscoliosis. So this video is also for you. So if you have levoscoliosis, then the rotation of your spine turns to the left, and then your Quadratus Lumborum gets really tight on your right side. And what happens now, there's a correlation of your psoas muscle. So let's discuss anatomy about the psoas and where's the origins of those muscles and where do they attach. So let's first go back to Quadratus Lumborum. So I said in my previous video, the function of this muscle in bilateral, both sides is an extension. So you're always overextended and you have the anterior tilt now. And when you're overcompensating both sides, so if you have one side more stiffer and you have more spasm, example your right side, then it also causes this anterior rotation of your pelvis. So now you're tilting this way and now you're hiking on your hip. So your pelvis goes up, because as we originate the muscle, it originates on your pelvis, on your ilium. And then it inserts floating rib. So it's near your diaphragm, and then on your processes of your lumbar spine on the higher part. So if they're tight on this side, it crunch up, and then your pelvis tilts up, and then your rib cage goes down, and now what happened to your rib cage? So if your lower part of your rib cage, which is really close to your diaphragm muscles, and the diaphragm between the right and left, the diaphragm is a little bit bigger than your left. So now you're always have this difficulty exhaling. So your rib cage is always flared out on your right, and then you're not engaging those muscles, especially there's the external intercostals and there's internal intercostals. So you don't know how to exhale and fully relax your diaphragm on your right, because the diaphragm is a dome shape. It should be depressing as you inhale. As you exhale, you should be able to go back to your dome shape, and then your rib cage should be going down. Instead of flaring out, should be flowing in, and then your quadratus lumborum, as I said, in your floating rib, it originates there, some muscles. So it's quadrilateral shape, it all goes down, and now your breath work is now confused. It doesn't know how to inhibit the movement. And that's why it's important we're going to do some breath work and how to finally release this. At the same time, your ilium on the lower part of your pelvis is so tight and spasmodic. And now, what happens now to your psoas muscle? Now your psoas on your opposite side, not the same side, will try to compensate, because our body will try its best to keep it center. And if you have this muscle imbalance and you're walking, you're thinking you're walking straight, actually, because one side is tilted, this left side, the opposite side, will start getting tight. So your hip flexors now on your left becomes tight. So I have patients, they have tight QL on the right, and then they feel like their hip flexors on the left is so tight and overcompensated. So your psoas muscle, especially the major, starts on your lumbar spine as well. So on the other side, it will start tightening up all the way, but this time it slides forward and it starts on your femur bone in the front part. So it starts as it's called iliopsoas. So the ilium, which is the iliacus. So this muscle is a combination of the iliacus and the psoas major. So they become one together to insert on your femur bone, part of your thigh, that helps as a prime mover of the hip to propel you forward. So if you have a tight quadratus lumborum, you realize the other opposite side, it's hard to propel forward, to step forward on your hip. And if you're tight there, what happens, your femur bone, instead of having your hip in neutral positions, in standing position, naturally your hip is a little bit external rotated, but now your left side will be overcompensating by opening your hip out further out. So now you have a hip that's external rotated, and then your lateral tilt on your right, it's hiked up to compensate, to keep it your balance straight, and then your rib cage goes down. So just imagine you're walking thinking you're straight, actually you're so tight, and compensation with difficulty finally releasing, and then you're going to have pain on your back, difficulty bending forward, crunch up back pain, difficulty rotation, crunch up pain. So especially rotation, then that's why you've been having this suffering for a while, and you have difficulty disengaging the QL muscle and opening your left opposite side of your hip flexors, which is so important as a prime mover of the hip. So let's begin the program utilizing the ball. Okay, my friends, we are going to all fours, making sure the ball is not too big. So if it's too big, you won't be able to reach the floor. So the ball should be perfect for your height, wherein your hand is level to your shoulder, fingers open for support, and your toes gripping the mat. So with the ball, your back should be parallel and not hyperextended. If you're hyperextended, guess what happened? You're right. Your QL is overcompensated again. As I said, QL muscle is an extensor of the back. And then your latissimus dorsi will also firing. You want to inhibit all of those muscles, disengage. So the purpose of the ball is to support your weak back. And you're going to do a little bit crunch forward, like inflection, like hugging the ball. So once you hug the ball, now you are in a slight flexion of your lumbar spine, your thoracic spine, pressing down. And now we're going to slowly shift. As I said, you have anterior rotation of your pelvis on your right. And if it's your right side, you are already rotating to the right a little bit. So the purpose of this is you're going to flex, press down on your knee towards the mat, and then slowly press with your toes gripping. Isometrics, as I said, you don't want to overcompensate. As you breathe in, disengage the muscle by exhaling through your mouth and really pressing down. I'm crunching the ball down. I'm like hugging the ball further to really relax. So just imagine there's so many purposes of this muscle. So again, press down with your hand, engage, inhale, expand your rib cage, and then press down. Now I want to shift my body weight to the left. I want to engage my left knee to my psoas muscle and shift and lean to open that right side and breathe out. Press down. I'm pressing down with my hands, pressing down my knee, and really feeling the release as I pull my head closer to the ball. And now I want that a little bit released further by placing both hands closer to the left side. I'm going to open that right side to open my breath work. Now I'm going to press towards my left, a little bit rotation, but making sure you're not hyperextending. You're still hugging towards the ball. As you breathe in, expand your rib cage, breathe out. I'm squeezing the core in, belly button to my spine as I press down with my knees and down. Now we're progressing. As I said, your hip on your left, your psoas, and your hip is a little bit external rotated. Now I want that hip to internal rotate. So I'm going to place my foot out of the mat. I'm internal rotating my hip. With that opening, both hands towards the left to open the tight right QL, and then disengaging my tight hip flexors on my left by doing a little bit hip rotation, because I said it's always overcompensating by external rotating it. Pressing down, inhale, making sure I'm not extending. I'm really lowering my head towards the ball. As I breathe in, open my right side. As I said, diaphragm release. Inhale, exhale, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. As I press down, pressing my toes down and gripping the floor on both sides, and then shifting my body weight to the left, and then really pressing on my left toes. I'm going to feel it on my hip here on my left, and I'm opening and really relaxing this tight QL by going further down the ball. So my head is really touching down now. As I breathe in, breathe out. Keeping my knee on my right side and foot parallel to my back. Other than my left, internal rotate, twist to the left, breathe in and breathe out. Breath work is so important on your diaphragm. And do this 10 seconds, hold up to 10 breaths in one position. Starting position is parallel first with your leg, and now with a little bit hip internal rotation until you can really feel the disengagement of the overcompensated, overworked, spasmodic right QL and tight hip flexors. And the last exercise, we need to release your tight left hip flexors, the overcompensating because of the tight right QL, as I said earlier. So in order to open that, place your right foot up, making sure your knee and hip is level. Grab the ball for support, keeping your back straight. Try not to overcompensate by extending your back. And then you're going to slowly lean forward towards the ball. Breath work, inhale, and once the ball is touching your stomach and feeling the stretch on your left tight hip flexors, on your left, your psoas, inhale, exhale. Disengage, lowering your shoulders down. Breathe in, belly rise. Use your belly work, breath work to lower your diaphragm further down. And then exhale, hold that position, that lunge position. And now, because the ball, try not to hyper extend your spine, you're going to slowly hug the ball to a flex position while you're stretching your hip flexors. Hug the ball. Try to relax that tight QL. Do a little bit, that slight flexion. Hug all the way down. Inhale. Hug. You can feel your breath work as you do a belly breath. You're against the ball. Exhale, breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. And do that 10 deep breaths while hugging the ball until you're going to feel a release on your hip flexors on the opposite side of your tight right side QL. And if you have the tight QL on your left, then do the opposite way of this video. If you love this video, want to learn more about Pilates, yoga, physical therapy, health, and wellness, please subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell so you won't miss anything. Like and share this video. Every like you give to my channel, you are supporting me. And if you need my guidance support, I'll be reopening my back masterclass on May 26, 2023 as my current students will be graduating, and I'm excited to meet my new students that are already on the early bird wait list for first come first serve basis. I'm so thankful. There's a lot of you already signed up, and if you're interested in really tackle this problem head on and have a great summer 2023 without back pain, to regain life without back pain, to have a stronger core, improved posture, click the link on the description below and be part of my early bird wait list. And if you want to learn more about Quadratus Lumborum pain, I have a lot of videos you can choose from: sciatica and other kind of back pain problems, or postpartum, C-sections, or diastasis recti, or anyone with umbilical hernia. You can also join my Revive Your Pelvic Floor Health that I'll be launching soon. Until my next video training, I have more videos about Quadratus Lumborum that you can check out over here to learn more about the anatomy, physiology, and try the align video so you can align your pelvis and finally fix the tight QL. Until my next video training, always remember, be safe, be well, and healthy you. Bye!